teacher at the Technological High School Simeon Mehedinți from Galați, Romania. Raised beds. Definition of raised beds. The location and use of raised beds. Materials used to make raised beds. Types of raised beds. Raised beds, a creative solution to your garden. Raised beds are an aesthetic and practical solution for arranging the outdoor space of gardens, courtyards, alleys, fences, parks, as well as for decorating and stabilizing soil. With creative shapes and modern design, concrete raised beds are easy to assemble and suitable for planting flowers, herbs, and decorative trees. Where and why do we put raised beds in the yard and garden? First of all, for variation. The effect that this object brings in the yard, but also on the surface of the lawn, is spontaneous and completes the much more stable meanings of the permanent vegetation. Planters and pots often have a temporary role. We therefore place them in boring or neutral areas to refresh. Too many pots can create an overwhelming scenery, which is why it is recommended the partial or total replacement of these objects from one season to another. Raised beds should not bother us or be an obstacle in our way. An imposing arrangement in the center of the paved courtyard looks great as long as there is enough access space around it. The same goes for garden alleys, which should not be blocked with plots or planters if they are not wide enough. A meeting point between two alleys is a much better place to put a raised bed than the length of a narrow alley. Here are some quick yard and garden placement solutions alike. If you have a small low lawn, a semi-permanent raised bed in the middle of it will be effective. We recommend here the models that combine a set of volumes, medium or large, made of natural stone or alternative materials. They deepen the perspective and give the feeling that your garden is large and spacious. In the spring, raised beds are the right solution to delimit the terraces lawn in a creative and spontaneous way at the same time. You can achieve this effect through dedicated raised beds. Simple shades and clearly defined volumes look great in most contexts and whatever range of vegetation you are heading for. They are suitable for both flowers and green plants and easy to maintain and retain their freshness over time. Pots in various shapes create life, or small paved surfaces such as most access yards to townhouses. Pots and raised beds can complete the pavement. In order to obtain this effect, you must not keep its color when you choose them, but its texture. Basic materials. Most raised beds are made of concrete or other similar materials. Alternatively, there are many examples on the market made of wood, braided, clay, coconut fiber, or even plastic. The cheapest solution, but also the last aesthetically pleasing. The same materials can be bases of improvised raised beds right in the garden space, but most of the time, this is a temporary solution. Here are some three most important materials detailed according to their advantages and disadvantages. Concrete are durable and resistant. In addition, they easily mask a wall or slab and are often modulated both horizontally and vertically. Wood. They are attractive and bring warmth to the garden space, but have the disadvantages that they require regular maintenance and have a short lifespan being exposed to the weather. Plastic. For financial reasons, plastic raised beds are very used, but their lifespan, appearance, and durability do not recommend them in any way. Types of attractive raised beds. Although the typology of raised beds is extremely wide, varying from one geographical area to another, from one period to another, and more recently from one producer to another, we can still find some types of raised beds whose contextual importance is more than relevant. We have chosen three distinct types which we consider essential in terms of the evolution of today's landscape. Classic raised beds are small or medium-sized planters whose place in the garden can be changed at any time. The most attractive and most resistant are those made of stone or wood. Modular raised beds are individual blocks that can be arranged in a stable and semi-permanent sense, which means that they can withstand in the same form several seasons in a row, depending on your taste or needs. They reduce the optical impact due, for example, to a slope or a wall, transforming it spatially and chromatically in a satisfying way. Their modularity recommends them for most landscaping projects. Monoblock raised beds are made of classical building materials and aim to create a single floral center permanently. They are suitable for large courtyards and lawn gardens. Due to their elevated shapes, they reduce the time spent on plant maintenance, keeping them visible from one season to another. An excellent solution with alternative materials. In your garden, raised beds are the place where you can demonstrate your creativity and ingenuity. Behind the raised beds produced specifically for this purpose, they can be built from any solid block or building material. The solution becomes attractive when you are interested in not adding chromatic and/or formal variation to your yard and you choose to use paving tiles. Made with care, they will integrate into your yard with simplicity and will not stand out in an ostentatious way. Raised bed, wood. Material, softwood boards, 58 millimeters thick. The wooden elements are cut to equal dimensions, 550 by 60 by 50 millimeters. After cutting to size, the elements are planed precise into plugs and notches and then mounted. Finishing is done with moisture-resistant varnishes or with paints. The resistance of wood over time is lowered to moisture, so garden raised beds must be finished with special materials for the outside. Pot model, use location outdoor, feature frost resistant, UV resistance. Wood material, material details, pin wood, plant surface treatment, base color wood brown, round shape, length by wide 50 by 50 centimeters, diameter 50 centimeters, height 35 centimeters, volume only 50 liters, weight 34 kilograms. Support with 3 wooden pots in which you can put various flowers or plants. This stand will perfectly decorate your terrace, balcony or garden. Color, natural with black effect. Material, pine wood. Total height, 42 centimeters. Total width, 22 centimeters. Total length, 47 centimeters. Exterior dimensions of pot: height 11 centimeters, width 14 centimeters, length 19 centimeters. Interior dimensions of pot: height 10 centimeters, width 11.5 centimeters, length 15.5 centimeters. Wooden pergolas. When it comes to pergolas, when it comes to buy a piece of furniture necessary for arranging a yard, more precisely a useful and necessary product for hanging plants, we recommend you to look carefully and confidently at this model of pergola with raised beds. This is a product made by combining the pergola with the raised bed. For the building of this model of furniture body, the softwood slats 14 centimeters wide and 2 centimeters thick were repeatedly used. The slats used for making the decorative fence on the sides of the pergola were also used. In the form presented here, the pergolas are in their raw form, without color and without protection against the weather. So, depending on your needs, you can paint the pergola in the image in a variety of over 20 shades of colors from those proposed by the manufacturer. And in terms of protection against external agents like sun, rain, wind, frost, the respective pergola model can be treated with water-based wax varnish from Italia and 2 coats with sanding after each layer applied. This is the solution for which they are well protected against the weather. Wooden planters. This classic solution has long been loved by those who decided to radically change the look of the garden. Wood is a fairly affordable material, especially since you can use both timber and logs. The only disadvantage of wood is its low strength over time. After a few years, the wood will start to rot and will have to be replaced. Woven planters. Elevated parcel fenced with wicker branches looked very original. The available shapes are practically unlimited, and the aesthetic aspect allows the placement of such planters in any part of the yard or garden, respectively, as in the first case, the disadvantage of braided branches is the low strength of construction.